Let's talk about the Twitter drama. While
I tell you what, hang on a second. I know we want to talk about this, but instead, oh my, do you guys mind coming on camera for a second? I'm seriously about to, I'm not kidding. I'm about to pass out. This is, I know.
Is it the hydrocell again?
No, it's not. It's not a ball. There's no is involved, for the love of God.
No poo. Okay, thank goodness.
Yeah, you guys come on cam for a second here, and then what I'm going to do is go off cam for a second.
Oh,
all right. Now, here's the thing. All right. Did that go off? Yeah, it went off. All right, let's get these guys on cam. And, all right. I know this seems like a troll. I know this seems like I might be up to no good. I might be up to a bit. We're going to go back into this interview as soon as possible. Instead, can we fill the time with this? Does everybody here know about the JQ?
Yes, the Jesuit question.
No, actually, no. I'm glad you spoke up, but no, that's wrong. I'm talking about the James question.
Oh no!
Yeah.
Let's
okay, I can come back on camera for that.
I believe we discussed this.
Yeah, guys. Could you just inform the audience of what's going on and just explain this? I'll be right back.
James was. You want me to do it? I can do it.
Yeah, you got it right. You explained.
Right. James was streaming on a Monkey app, which is an app for.
False. That's a lie.
Okay, it was Ohm app. It was some app where you. It's like Omegle, and he's telling Muslim girls to take off their hijabs, and if they're not wearing a hijab, he's telling them to put on the hijab. And then it comes to this girl who.
I thought you were doing it though.
At most 14. And he was saying
false.
something like,
yeah, it was at most 13. Saying, come on.
Put on your hijab. And yeah, she said something like, you want to see my and James was like, yeah.
No, and no.
James said, do
First
it.
of all,
James,
I didn't have nearly that much enthusiasm.
You wanted to see on girls, James.
No. First of all, I didn't have near that much enthusiasm.
Yeah,
we had no idea whether she was.
James, everything you say is monotone.
Dude, I woke up at least 3 times.
We know she was we have eyes.
No. And secondly, I hung up on her immediately after that.
Before she
so I was obviously just calling her bluff.
There were a dozen of them, James.
No, there was not a dozen of them.
There was a dozen of them.
James.
No.
There are dozens.
Of times that you've done that.
You had this bit telling girls
this is a regular occurrence.
No,
this happens all the people
true.
At home. This happens all the time.
This is an intervention.
He woke up. He woke up his wife because he was yelling at little girls to an article of, and she had to send.
That's not true.
A Google message to him, and it came through in a Google voice, and it said, "James, please be quiet. You're waking up our smooth-brained daughter."
That's not true either.
James has a smooth-brained daughter.
You guys are embellishing the stories.
These crimes, James.
A very bad amount.
You know, James, every one of Chris Hansen's victims have said the exact same things.
Yeah, James, why don't you have a seat over here?
I'm already seated.
Well, I'll have another seat. How about that?
Well, that's not a good sign.
Yeah. I want you to stand up and then sit back down.
I'm closer to the camera, James.
Yeah, we need to see that whole
time to be scooped.
It's disgusting. Right. Look at it. Oh my gosh.
This was a pre-planned bit, just so everybody knows. Jesse is not having an emergency. This was an intervention we set up ahead of time.
Yeah.
James, you got to lay off the little girls. You have a family to think
Lenny is telling the truth. I was too embarrassed to be a part of this. I am not having any type of medical emergency. How would I just suddenly start? That would be insane. I can't be on camera for this. This is too much. James, I'm not joking about this, man. I just need to hear everybody else talk about it first. James, I'm not kidding. I had a conversation with everyone in Discord without you earlier today.
Mm-hmm.
You were not present for this, and I literally had to ask, should we be banning James from the cult? Now listen, I mean, this is messed up shit. I told you this. I told you this when it happened. I cannot be a hypocrite when it comes to this. We're doing a whole Mersh episode, and we really are going back to the Mersh stuff here in a second. Everybody, don't worry. I can't be a fucking hypocrite because I did 2 whole episodes on how Mersh wouldn't kick a pedophile out of his Discord, and by proxy, that kind of makes him sus. You see what I'm saying? James?
Yes.
Okay, so you agree with me that you are sus.
No, you're embellishing it, and you're
I don't know. We have a jury.
Dragging my good name through the mud here.
All right.
I think they were embellishing when they called the lady 14.
Here's yeah, that's the thing. All right, let's go over the facts. And here's things I can legally say with no fear of repercussion about James Søren. James regularly talks to minors on the internet.
Oh, no, if they show up.
James purposefully uses Omi and Monkey to speak to minors. And
no, that's not true.
That is true. We've watched you do it multiple times. And every time I go, James, I'm highly uncomfortable with this. Like, listen, trolling, if it's a kid, whatever, like, okay, who cares? That's not like, we don't need to be this overreactive, you know. We talked about this in the veto episode. Like, everybody is so, oh my God, everyone's a P-worded. That's not what's happening here. I need you to understand that's not what's happening.
That is kind of what's happening.
You have completely crossed a line into, this is too embarrassing for me. I really don't want to even be on camera for this, but I feel bad about everybody else having to do this. You've crossed a line for me. For me. Okay? The guy who the Santa Cruz Joker says this is what I do all the time. So here's another truth fact that you can say about James Søren. Søren, as he's known to his wife. His wife, by the way, and he also has 3 daughters. James, this is 100% true. You spoke to a girl who appeared to be no older than 14. And again, we're being generous with 14. That's true.
I don't think so.
Is that true or is that not true?
Not true.
All right, you're straight up lying right now. That's just a lie.
No.
What do you mean no? How is
What
that
do you
not
mean?
true?
What do you mean?
Did you or did you not speak to a girl who is visibly a minor?
She might have been. I don't know.
Oh,
James, how do we all
She did
know?
not look 13 or 14.
How old
What?
did she look? How old then?
I have no idea.
15 at the
James,
oldest.
Can you just take a guess?
This
Yeah,
is
16,
getting
I'll say.
this is getting bad. This is getting real bad. The fact that you won't say it's getting real bad.
No, this is you're embarrassing me, man. You're making up stuff.
I'm not kidding. You embarrass me. I here's what happened.
Oh,
Here's what happened. When we were talking about this earlier, I literally said to everybody, what's the JQ? What's the James question? What should we do here? Because I'm legitimately concerned about the look of things. I want people to join this Discord. I want people to be involved. I want people on the show. Did he leave? Or he just went off camera. I want people to be involved.
he left.
Oh my.
oh God, no.
Oh no.
I'm gonna give him a second. I'll give him a second. Hang on. I want to be clear. We are in Schrodinger's P-word territory. Okay. I'm not saying he is a P-word. Again, I would never just say that. That's not what we do here. We're not like crazy kind of. I mean, I did discover Israel, but Israel, of course. James, it's time to stop. This is an intervention. They're saying, listen, I'm not fucking around here. I swear to God, I'm not fucking around. And I'm sorry to hijack the Mersh episode for this. It has to be done. I asked everybody when James wasn't around, what do we do? And they said, everybody seemed to agree we need to stage an intervention. And we happen to be talking about tonight's episode. And someone said, we should bring this up in the episode. And originally I was going to do it in the after show, but I'm like, he just keeps lying. Like, we watched this shit happen and he's saying it didn't happen. You just saw him say it. I need him to be accountable and at the very least say this did happen. So again, to be
it's one thing to go, it's fucked up and it shouldn't have happened, but
to be
another
clear,
thing to deny it.
To be clear, what happened was, and again, not just James does this. We have other people who do this. We go on these apps. It's like Omegle, if you don't know. We go on these apps and we do a bit, and we just keep running the bit on everybody who shows up. Or we just talk to them and we're just making fun of them. And all of us are watching on Discord and the people don't know. Classic. Everybody does this on Twitch and Kick and everything. Blah, blah, blah. A few people do it. I actually do not do this. But James has been doing this a lot on monkey.app. And he's been doing the 9-volt battery smoke detector bit with everybody because it's a lot of black people on Monkey. I'm not making that up. That's
like
just
90%.
That's just true.
They often ask what us white people are doing on that app. Like, we're not supposed to be there.
Tom Gully says before not true is very suspect, James. That's Tom Gully saying that. So,
to be fair, James
Yeah,
does say before every, 3 times in a sentence.
That's true.
Basically.
James does say a lot. Now, to be clear, what happened was, so this was a normal, nobody expected anything out of the ordinary. Now, also to be fair, we constantly tell James when it's visibly a child, skip them. And I want James.
Skip.
Did James leave the server, by the way, or did he just leave the call? Can somebody figure that out for me? Because he's welcome to come back in here. He's welcome to stay a part of all of this if there's no problems. But we need to determine. This is the JQ. We need to determine. So I want to hear the audience's opinion. I want to hear everybody's opinion on this. We always tell him hit skip. Always. And he essentially never does. Now, it could be the case. You heard him just now. He's saying, I couldn't tell how old she was. It could be the case that maybe James just cannot actually tell. I mean, he is extremely autistic. You've seen his eyeballs. They're haunting. Maybe he can't. Maybe he doesn't know if someone is underage. Now, that I don't know how that would hold up in court. You know what I mean? But maybe that is a real deal thing with James. I got to tell you, we've known James for a long time. Again, he's got 3 daughters. I've never actually suspected anything of James, but this behavior is a pattern. And what happened yesterday was too far for me. He was telling girls to put on a burqa. That's a fine bit. But everyone showing up on this app was underage. And you could tell. There's no you couldn't tell. You could tell. And we kept telling him, I don't know, skip. And then it started becoming take off a burqa. And we're like, So this is another true thing you can say about James is he has told visibly minor girls to take off articles of clothing. That is just a legally true statement.
Several times.
Am I wrong? Have I even exaggerated about anything?
I'm gonna be.
No.
I'm gonna come out and say I wasn't here for it, so I can't attest to any of this.
Like
It was true.
in and out of sleep, and I was there.
Me personally, I'm here for this. Okay.
It was bad.
I wasn't there when this happened.
I was there. I was there.
I was here for
Burqa
every
one.
moment up to that moment in question.
Yeah, me too. Same. Yep.
Good.
Same. Me too. Definitely. Yeah. I heard about all this third hand. So here's the deal. I'm not fucking around on this. This is not a bit. All right. I'm so embarrassed by all of this.
He did leave the Discord, by the way.
Okay. Now, this is not the first time James has
Big
left.
baby freak out.
Oh no.
This is not the first time James has left. I'm sure he's watching. James, you're welcome to come back. But this is behavior that is actually concerning to everybody in the Discord. And I have thrown this out to people. Okay, well, let me say this. I'm getting ahead of myself. To be clear, the moment in question, what happened was I literally took my headphones off. I didn't hear you guys talk about this. So I don't know if this is already covered well enough. I just want to make sure that we have this right. I saw this happen. It's a girl. I would say 14 is, again, generous. I would say around 14 years of age. And James he just did the burqa bit with her, no different than anybody else that showed up. And some of these girls, some of them are, mud monkeys from a jungle sometimes. It's not like, I mean, I don't know if that's not a racist thing, by the way. I'm just saying, like, some of them are primitive where I don't even know how they had access to the internet. Like, I don't know if that's a P words type. I don't know if that's what the paranormal or after. Maybe they are. Maybe they're into grass skirts. I'm just saying, it's not like there was anything particular about this girl. He's doing the same bit to all these girls. But this girl pops up. This girl, for whatever reason, is a little bit more with it than everyone. And by the way, he did this to guys too. Let's not muddy the waters here. Guys, adults, like everybody, anyone that showed up, he blankly does the exact same bit with. His giant eyeballs just staring a hole into their soul. You can see it when James pops up on one of these things. People's reactions to him are like terrified. They're haunted by him. So, and he just says, "Take off that burqa. Take off that burqa. You're immodest. It's haram. Take off that burqa." So he just does that to the girl. The girl does like all the other girls where she's like, what? But then the second she understands what he's saying, I think, wasn't he also doing this in Australia specifically? Like he had it region coded to Australia. So I think this girl was Australian.
Malaysia.
The
He
new
had Malaysia.
Omegle.
He did a few. There was a few places.
Okay. So
Yeah.
the point is she spoke English, but James is so hard to understand. James is so hard to understand that these girls are all confused by what he's saying. And so it took her a second to get it. But I'll say this about the girl in question is she was like more with it than the rest of the girls. And she was kind of joking with James. Now, this could mean good or bad. This is a very important thing to note here. Because if it feels like someone's kind of getting the bit and going with it, you could make the excuse, oh, we were like clicking and it's a joke, right? But you could also argue that he sees this girl kind of enjoying it. And again, she doesn't know there's an audience watching. So it's just her and him. He might, in his head, be thinking, and again, I'm not saying this is true. This is an argument that could be made. He might be thinking like, wow, this girl likes me. I'm just saying, like, that is a real possibility. So she says, like, why would I put on a burqa, blah, blah, blah. And she's like testing it. She's like doing a shit test back at him. And he's just running autistically through the bit. He's not even thinking about it. And she's out. This is all in seconds, by the way, but she's outmaneuvering James. This girl is funnier and smarter than James, And at a certain point, I don't remember what he said that led into it, but he's telling her to go get the burqa. At a certain point, she says it. She brought it up. Again, would that hold up in court? I don't think so. But she says, do you want me to show you my tits? Now, this is a girl trying to be funny. This is a girl knowing what the internet's about. This is a girl, presumably, the joke in the girl's head is that makes him a P word. She's trying to get him in trouble. Obviously, she's not going to do it. I think everybody who was there for that instantly recoiled. I think all of us were like, what? You could hear it. You could hear everybody in Discord kind of go, So, but this is all happening too fast. And before we could even finish, James goes, yes. Again, let me recreate this for you one more. In fact, could somebody say, let's do Stella. All right, Stella, can you turn on your mic for a second here? Stella,
Yes.
can you be the young lady for me? And again, you're a with it happening 14-year-old girl with no and you are seeing me, the autistic creep, on the other side, and you're making fun of me. Could you deliver the line for me? Do you want me to show you my? Okay, and I'm going to be James.
Do you want me to show you my?
Yes. Yes. Now, James's eyes are always like I have droopy eyes. I can't get my eyes this wide. Like I don't know how to. So his eyes are already like this. His eyes grew 3 times that day. 3 sizes. So Stella, one more time. Okay. So
Do you want me to show you my?
Yes. Like I don't know how to do it, but he lunged forward in his seat a little bit. This is true. This is not an exaggeration. His eyes widened, and we're all going, no. Now I think, and this is why, James, you shouldn't have left. I think she left the call, but it might have been James. And James really should be here to defend himself, because if it was him, I legitimately don't know. I assumed it was her. So this isn't me trying to make him look worse. I legitimately don't know, but I assumed in the moment that she left because she was freaked out. And we're all like, no. And that's where we had to hang it up. That's what we had to tell him, to like, end it right there. Stop this. This is too much. And this is what we've always been warning about with him, where he won't skip the kids.
He never does. It's crazy.
That's number 5 of things I can say is he refuses to skip the kids. So these
also,
are all.
Scott has talked to kids, but not in like a Jamesian sort of way. But it just looks bad when new people are in there.
It just looks bad, and I hate it. It looks bad. And here's the thing, though. Scott's done this troll. Other people have done it too. Chewy's done. I mean, people I would trust 100%. Not Scott. And just to be, I mean, we joke all the time about Scott, but Scott has 2 daughters. There's no chance. Can somebody's making my audio playback, if you can mute. I would never believe it about a lot of people have done this bit in the Discord. Nobody does it the way James does. Like, even Scott, who has talked to people who may, like, listen, a lot of the people using this app are lying about their age. Even adults, by the way. Sometimes the adults are lying, saying they're younger. Sometimes, they're lying and saying they're like, everybody's lying on these apps. But he's just having a conversation. It's not creepy, there's nothing weird going on there. James, it's creepy every time. And some of that is just the way James is. And I think we can all admit that, right?
100%.
Some of it is, some of it's something else. Now, just to be clear, I hope James hears this. I hope someone will reach out to him with this. There's been another guy who was accused online of being a P. A guy where the circumstances and the proof of him being P-worded are very thin. Slightly convincing, but very thin. Not true evidence. And I've offered him the ability to prove on this program that he is not a P. And that man's name is Flamenco. I was about to hit the clap box for that, but I think we'll go with... Yeah. So I've devised a test. It's called the PP test. And in it, Flamenco could prove himself to not be P-worded by coming on a separate screen that you guys can't see. Myself and my Mexican doctor, Dr. Tirado, would be observing Flamenco's human natural illustration, his tube, and we would show him a series of images that would include just random, clothed obviously, but just random images of children in there. And if there was any movement on his tubulations, we would note that down and the doctor would score it and let us know if it seems likely that he is a P. I now invite James to, Flamenco refuses to do the test. In fact, this came up again recently on Twitter. Flamenco has no intention of ever doing the test because he knows he'll fail it. So Flamenco has gone from Schrodinger's P-worded to, Pythagoras's P-worded, in that we've triangulated him into being one. We've got enough points of interest where we can go, all right, he's in this box. So, James, you are currently Schrodinger's P. And ironically, James, what he does for a living, we've talked about this many times in the show, is he tests PP. So, James, I'm extending the offer to you. Would you like to come on the show? We'll do a primo episode. This will be behind the scenes. No one will see your penis except for Dr. Tirado, who you've spoken to in Discord before, friend of the show, Dr. Tirado, and of course myself, to make sure everything's on the up and up. Would you be willing to come on the show and do a PP test of the PP tester? I think this is 100% fair. I think it's the right thing to do, just to make sure. And everybody in Discord, this was an intervention. We thought of this ahead of time. Everyone agreed this would be the way to determine whether or not you should still be a part of our activities, and to determine what your proclivities are as well. So that's the offer on the table. James, you're welcome back. Would you be able to do the PP test with us? We want to make sure everything's on the up and up. Now, otherwise, you're welcome back to just defend yourself. Oh, listen, gather yourself. I know this is tough. People, guys, henchmen, message James, okay? Let him know. Let him know that this wasn't a got ya, or this is a legitimate thing. We're not fucking with him here.
If we wanted to fuck with them, or our minds were already made, he would just be gone.
Yeah,
right?
We would just kick them out. That's it. Like when it came to, all right, so if you guys don't know the story, the Mersh P inside the Mersh Discord, who he kept around and defended for months, this was a guy who was legitimately grooming other users' children on Discord. This is a guy who's a legit P. Mersh refused to kick him out. This guy, the reason we know he's a P, he tried to join our Discord. The second we found out he's a brony and he's up to no good, the second we knew, he's gone. That's it. We made him destroy. First, we did make him destroy one of his ponies. Felt like he needed a little bit of vengeance for being a P, but then he got kicked out and then he was shunned. And then we did an episode about him to ruin him in the eyes of the world. So if James was really, really in trouble here, and again, I don't want anyone walking away from this call. This is not determined. In fact, I would say it's unlikely, just to be clear. I think it's unlikely, but we need him to understand how serious we are, that this can't keep happening. This is something that Mersh should have done on his show when it came to that other guy, Fisher. This is what Mersh should have done, and instead he defended Fisher. Instead, he kept him. Instead, he allowed children to be worded. I'm not going to allow the same kind of thing going on in my Discord. And ladies and gentlemen, that's why the PODAWFUL cult is the greatest Discord on earth. And we will solve world comedy. Okay, well, awkward. Okay, yikes. Anybody heard from James or...
Oh, Mersh.
Yeah.
Oh, you did? You heard from James?
He said, I said, no one thinks you're a
P-word.
Just looks bad for the show. Just come defend yourself. And he said, I'm not a fan of having my name dragged through the mud. I'm pretty upset.
Well, listen, James, there's a reason I didn't use your full name while doing this. I'm not dragging your name. Again, tell him I'm saying this too, because he might be too scared to be watching. And I understand that. But tell him, like, I am not dragging your name through the mud. I'm being very careful here to say, I don't think it's even true. I don't think it's true, but it looks bad. And if I don't say this, then I look bad.
We told James like almost a year ago when he got on Monkey App, and he was telling that 14-year-old girl, "Ooh, girl, you look like Aunt Jemima." That's not a good thing, and you shouldn't do it. And now he like, it's a different bit, but he's still effectively flirting with what looks like underage girls.
And just to be clear, like, this is the guy who came on stream not that long ago and said that a girl who was of age, she was 19, so she's 2 years of age, 19, who had joined our Discord, he kept claiming she was underage. Remember that?